Archangel Michael says, the wait is almost over. Archangel Michael says, this evening, you were guided here for a reason. Not by accident, not by coincidence, not because you happened to come across these words. You are here because there is something your heart needs to hear. Something your spirit has been waiting to remember. Something that has been quietly unfolding beneath the surface of your life. And tonight, Archangel Michael says, the wait is almost over. Take a moment and let those words settle within you. The wait is almost over. For so long, you have carried questions that seem to have no answers. You have carried hopes that seemed delayed. You have carried prayers that appeared to echo into silence. And while you continued moving forward, there were moments when doubt tried to convince you that nothing was changing. Moments when uncertainty felt heavier than usual. Moments when it seemed as though everyone else was moving ahead while you remained standing in the same place. But Archangel Michael says, appearances can be deceiving. What you see is not always the full story. What you understand is not always the complete picture. And what seems delayed is often developing in ways you cannot yet recognize. Tonight, you are being reminded of a truth that many people forget during difficult seasons. Progress is not always visible. Growth is not always obvious. And preparation is not always exciting. Yet some of the most important transformations happen quietly, far beneath the surface, beyond what the eye can see, beyond what the mind can measure. Archangel Michael says, you have been in a season of preparation. Perhaps you did not call it that. Perhaps you called it waiting. Perhaps you called it confusion. Perhaps you called it frustration. But heaven has called it preparation. Because during this season, things have been changing within you. You've become stronger, wiser, more resilient, more discerning. You've learned lessons that could not have been learned any other way. You've developed patience in circumstances that demanded it. You have discovered courage in moments when fear wanted to take control. You have found strength you did not know you possessed. And even though the journey has been difficult at times, none of it has been wasted. Not one moment, not one challenge, not one lesson. Archangel Michael says, many people focus entirely on what they are waiting for. The opportunity, the breakthrough, the answer, the relationship, the change. And while there is nothing wrong with longing for those things, there is something equally important to understand. The person you become while waiting matters. The wisdom you gain while waiting matters. The growth that occurs while waiting matters. Because what is coming requires more than desire. It requires readiness. And readiness is exactly what this season has been creating. There were times when you wished everything would happen immediately. Times when you wished answers would arrive overnight. Times when you wished clarity would replace uncertainty. But had those things arrived too soon, you might not have been prepared to receive them fully. This is why timing matters. This is why patience matters. This is why trust matters. Archangel Michael says, think about the evening sky. Notice how slowly it changes. The sun does not disappear instantly. The stars do not emerge all at once. The colors transition gradually. The light softens little by little. And because the process unfolds naturally, it creates beauty. Life often follows the same pattern. Some changes happen suddenly, but the most meaningful transformations often happen gradually, quietly, patiently, one step at a time. And that is exactly what has been happening in your life. Even when it felt like nothing was changing, even when it felt like progress had stopped, even when it felt like your efforts were not producing results, something was happening, growth was happening, alignment was happening, preparation was happening. Archangel Michael says, there were nights when you questioned your path, nights when you wondered if you were doing the right thing. Nights when uncertainty felt overwhelming. You may not have spoken those fears aloud. You may have carried them privately, but they were real and they were heavy. Yet despite everything, you continued. You kept moving. You kept hoping. You kept believing. And that perseverance matters more than you realize. Because perseverance reveals character. Perseverance reveals faith. Perseverance reveals strength. Every time you chose to continue despite uncertainty, you are building a foundation for the future. A foundation that cannot be shaken easily. A foundation that will support what is coming next. Archangel Michael says, you are closer than you think. Closer than your doubts suggest. Closer than your fears suggest. Closer than your circumstances suggest. Many breakthroughs happen after people are tempted to give up. Many blessings arrive after seasons of uncertainty. Many opportunities emerge after periods of preparation. And right now, you stand closer to a new chapter than you realized. This is not the time to surrender to discouragement. This is not the time to abandon hope. This is not the time to convince yourself that nothing is happening. Because something is happening, and the signs of it are already beginning to appear. Not always in dramatic ways, not always in obvious ways, but in subtle ways, in quiet ways, in meaningful ways. Archangel Michael says, the wait is almost over. Not because every challenge will disappear instantly. Not because life will suddenly become perfect. But because the season of preparation is leading toward a season of movement. The lessons you have learned are preparing to meet opportunities. The strength you have developed is preparing to meet responsibility. The wisdom you have gained is preparing to meet new possibilities. And when those things come together, progress begins. Doors begin to open. Paths begin to reveal themselves. And what once seemed distant begins moving closer. Tonight, allow yourself to release some of the pressure you have been carrying. Release the need to control every outcome. Release the fear that nothing is changing. Release the belief that you are behind. You are not behind. You are becoming ready. And readiness is one of the greatest gifts this season could have given you. Archangel Michael says, as this evening continues, hold these words close to your heart. The wait is almost over. The preparation has purpose. The lessons have value. The future remains open. And what is meant for you is already moving toward you. Trust the process. Trust the timing. Trust the journey, because the chapter ahead is closer than you think. The season that changed you, Archangel Michael says, there is something important you must understand about the season you have been living through. It was never only about waiting. It was never only about delays. It was never only about unanswered questions. It was also about becoming, because every season leaves something behind. Every challenge teaches something. Every obstacle develops something. And every period of waiting changes something within the person who experiences it. The season you have been walking through has been shaping you in ways you may not fully recognize. There were lessons hidden within the silence. There was wisdom hidden within the uncertainty. There was strength hidden within the struggle. And although those gifts may not have seemed obvious at the time, they remain valuable. Archangel Michael says, think about who you were before this season began. Think about how you viewed life, how you viewed yourself, how you viewed your future. You have changed, perhaps not in ways that others immediately notice. But you have changed. You have become more aware of what truly matters, more aware of what drains your energy, more aware of what brings peace, more aware of what deserves your attention. You have learned to recognize distractions. You have learned to recognize misaligned opportunities. You have learned that not every open door is the right door, and not every closed door is a loss. These lessons have value because what is coming next will require discernment, and discernment is developed through experience. Archangel Michael says, there were moments when confusion felt overwhelming, moments when you wanted certainty, moments when you wanted someone to explain exactly why things were happening the way they were. You wanted clarity, you wanted direction, you wanted reassurance, yet the answers did not always come immediately. And because they did not come immediately, doubt began whispering questions. Am I on the right path? Have I missed my opportunity? Did I make a mistake? Is anything actually changing? These questions are common during seasons of waiting. But Archangel Michael says, questions are not proof that you are lost. Questions are often evidence that growth is occurring. Because growth challenges old assumptions. Growth expands perspective. Growth invites deeper understanding. And deeper understanding often begins with uncertainty. Archangel Michael says, you have carried burdens that others never saw. Responsibilities, concerns, private disappointments, private fears, private frustrations. Many people only saw the version of you that continued moving forward. They saw your strength. They saw your determination. But they did not always see the effort required to maintain those qualities. They did not always see the moments when you felt tired, the moments when you felt discouraged, the moments when you questioned whether your efforts would ever produce results. Yet despite all of those moments, you continued. And that matters, because resilience is not built when everything goes according to plan. Resilience is built when things do not go according to plan and you continue anyway. Archangel Michael says, one of the greatest misconceptions about waiting is that people assume nothing is happening. But waiting seasons are often among the most productive seasons of life. Not because visible results appear, but because invisible development occurs. Think about a seed beneath the soil. From the surface, nothing appears to be happening. The ground looks unchanged. The landscape looks the same. Yet beneath the soil, growth is already taking place. Roots are forming. Strength is developing. Foundations are being established. And without those hidden processes, the visible growth could never occur. Your life has been experiencing something similar. Much of the most important work has been happening beneath the surface. Within your character, within your perspective, within your understanding, within your spirit. Archangel Michael says, you may have felt forgotten at times. You may have felt overlooked. You may have felt as though everyone else's life was moving while yours remained still. But feelings do not always reflect reality. The truth is that your journey has been moving forward. Not always quickly, Not always visibly, but steadily, purposefully, and wisely. Sometimes progress takes the form of external results. Other times progress takes the form of internal transformation. Both forms matter. Both forms are valuable. And both forms contribute to your future. Archangel Michael says, the challenges you experienced were not random. The lessons you learned were not meaningless. The delays you encountered were not without purpose. Every season contributes something, even difficult seasons, especially difficult seasons, because difficult seasons reveal things that comfortable seasons often conceal. They reveal strength. They reveal priorities. They reveal character. They reveal faith. And they reveal what truly matters. Many of the qualities you now possess were developed because of challenges, not despite them. The patience you have gained, the wisdom you have gained, the resilience you have gained, the courage you have gained, all of these qualities were strengthened through experience. And those qualities are preparing you for what comes next. Archangel Michael says, the wait is almost over. But before the next chapter begins, take a moment to honor how far you have come. Honor the lessons you have learned. Honor the obstacles you have overcome. Honor the growth that has taken place. Honor the courage it took to continue. Too often people focus only on where they are going. They forget to acknowledge how far they have already traveled. Yet your journey matters, your progress matters, and your perseverance matters, because every step has brought you closer to this moment, closer to understanding, closer to clarity, closer to alignment, closer to the future that is gradually unfolding before you. Archangel Michael says, you are stronger than you were, wiser than you were, more prepared than you were. And although you may still have questions, you are no longer the same person who first entered this season. Growth has occurred, transformation has occurred, preparation has occurred, and all of it has value. Nothing has been wasted. Nothing has been meaningless. Nothing has been without purpose. The waiting season has been shaping you. The waiting season has been teaching you. The waiting season has been preparing you. And now, the movement you have been hoping for is drawing nearer. The wait is almost over, not because everything changes overnight, but because the preparation has been accomplishing its purpose. And when preparation meets opportunity, a new chapter begins. Archangel Michael says, continue trusting, continue believing, continue moving forward, because the future is closer than it appears. And what has been developing beneath the surface is preparing to reveal itself in ways you do not yet expect. The wait is almost over, and the next chapter is already beginning to approach. What heaven was protecting you from, Archangel Michael says, as this evening grows quieter and your heart becomes more open to receive, there is a truth that must be understood. Not every delay was meant to stop you. Not every obstacle was meant to harm you. Not every closed door was meant to reject you. Sometimes the very thing that frustrated you was the thing that protected you. Sometimes the very thing that disappointed you was the thing that redirected you. And sometimes the very thing that seemed unfair was actually preparing the way for something better. This is difficult to understand while you are living through it, because when a door closes, you feel the disappointment. When a plan changes, you feel the frustration. When an opportunity disappears, you feel the loss. But rarely do you immediately see what you were protected from. Rarely do you immediately understand why a different path was necessary. Rarely do you immediately recognize the wisdom hidden within the delay. Archangel Michael says, there were opportunities you wanted that were never meant to become permanent. There were relationships you wanted to preserve that could not follow you into your future. There were situations you wished would work out differently. And when they did not, it hurt. It confused you. It challenged your faith. But heaven saw what you could not see. Heaven saw where certain paths would lead. Heaven saw what would strengthen your journey and what would weaken it. Heaven saw the future consequences that remained invisible to you. And because of that, some doors had to remain closed. Not because you were unworthy, not because you were forgotten, but because your path required something different, something better aligned, something more sustainable, something more meaningful. Archangel Michael says, there is a difference between what you desire and what truly belongs within your purpose. Sometimes those things overlap beautifully, and sometimes they do not. This is why discernment matters. This is why patience matters. This is why timing matters. Because not everything that appears attractive is beneficial. Not everything that appears promising is lasting. Not everything that appears exciting is aligned. And one of the gifts of your waiting season has been learning the difference. You have learned that immediate gratification is not always lasting fulfillment. You have learned that temporary success is not the same as meaningful purpose. You have learned that speed is not always progress. These lessons are preparing you for decisions that will matter greatly in the future. Archangel Michael says, the wait is almost over. But before movement begins, you must understand why the waiting existed. Because the waiting was not punishment. The waiting was preparation. The waiting was protection. The waiting was positioning. You were being positioned for opportunities you could not yet see, positioned for conversations that had not yet occurred, positioned for connections that had not yet formed, positioned for doors that had not yet opened. And positioning requires time. Consider a master builder constructing a foundation. From the outside, progress appears slow. The work seems repetitive. The results seem invisible. Yet the foundation determines everything that follows. Without a strong foundation, even beautiful structures eventually fail. And your foundation has been strengthened. Your patience has been strengthened. Your wisdom has been strengthened. Your resilience has been strengthened. Your understanding has been strengthened. All of these things matter because what is coming requires stability, not just enthusiasm, stability. Archangel Michael says, there were moments when you wanted answers immediately. Moments when you wanted certainty. Moments when you wanted life to reveal every detail of the journey ahead. But certainty is not always necessary for progress. Sometimes trust becomes the bridge between where you are and where you are going. Trust allows movement when clarity is incomplete. Trust allows faith when evidence feels limited. Trust allows hope when circumstances remain uncertain. And trust has been growing within you. Every challenge has tested it. Every delay has refined it. Every obstacle has strengthened it. And now that trust is becoming one of your greatest strengths. Archangel Michael says, many people abandon their journey just before things begin to change. They become discouraged. They become impatient. They become convinced that nothing is happening. And because they cannot see the progress, they assume progress does not exist. But appearances are often misleading. The sunrise begins long before the first ray becomes visible. The flower begins growing long before it blooms. The river reaches the ocean 1 mile at a time. And breakthroughs often begin long before they become visible. Your breakthrough has already begun. Not necessarily in ways you can measure. Not necessarily in ways you can prove, but in ways that are real nonetheless. The pieces are moving. The circumstances are shifting. The opportunities are approaching. The alignment is occurring. And that is why this message has found you now. Archangel Michael says, you are entering a season that will require courage. Not because something bad is coming, but because growth always requires courage. New opportunities require courage. New beginnings require courage. New responsibilities require courage. And the courage you have been developing during this waiting season will soon become valuable. You have already survived uncertainty. You have already survived disappointment. You have already survived delay. Because of that, you are stronger than you realize, more capable than you realize, more prepared than you realize. The experiences that once felt like burdens have quietly become sources of strength. And those strengths are preparing to serve you well. Archangel Michael says, the future is not asking you to rush. The future is asking you to trust. Trust the process. Trust the preparation. Trust the wisdom of timing. Trust the growth that has occurred. Trust the lessons that have been learned. And trust that what belongs within your path is already moving toward you. You do not need to force what is meant for you. You do not need to chase what is aligned with your purpose. You do not need to fear that you will miss what heaven has prepared. Your task is simpler. Continue growing. Continue trusting. Continue preparing. Continue moving forward. One step at a time. Archangel Michael says, one day you will look back on this season differently. One day you will understand why certain things happened exactly as they did. One day you will recognize the hidden protection, the hidden wisdom, the hidden guidance. And when that understanding arrives, gratitude will replace confusion, because you will see that what felt like rejection was often redirection. What felt like delay was often preparation. What felt like silence was often alignment. And what felt like waiting was often growth. The wait is almost over, and the chapter ahead is closer than you think. Continue believing, continue trusting, continue preparing, because something important is approaching. And when it arrives, you will understand why every step of this journey mattered. The breakthrough is closer than you think, Archangel Michael says. As this evening continues and the world becomes quieter around you, there is one final message that must settle deeply into your heart. The wait is almost over, not because every challenge will suddenly disappear, not because every question will be answered tonight, not because life will instantly become perfect. The wait is almost over because the season that has been preparing you is reaching its purpose. For so long, you have measured your progress by what you could see. You looked for visible movement, visible results, visible confirmation, visible change. And because those things did not always appear as quickly as you hoped, doubt occasionally entered your thoughts. You wondered if anything was happening at all. You wondered if your efforts mattered. You wondered if your prayers were being heard. You wondered if your future was still moving toward you. Archangel Michael says, the answer is yes. Movement has been happening. Growth has been happening. Preparation has been happening. Alignment has been happening. Even when your eyes could not see it. Even when your mind could not understand it. Even when your emotions struggled to believe it. The process continued, because not every transformation begins on the surface. Some transformations begin in silence. Some breakthroughs begin in hidden places. Some blessings begin long before they become visible. And your journey has been one of those journeys. Archangel Michael says, you were never abandoned. You were never forgotten. You were never left behind. There were moments when it felt that way. Moments when the silence felt heavy. Moments when uncertainty felt endless. Moments when you questioned whether anything would ever change. But your feelings were not the full truth. The full truth is that your path continued moving. Your future continued forming. Your opportunities continued approaching. And your preparation continued unfolding. The wait is almost over. Let those words settle into your spirit once again. The wait is almost over. The wait is almost over. The wait is almost over. Not because of chance, not because of luck, but because preparation eventually creates readiness. And readiness eventually meets opportunity. Archangel Michael says, many people underestimate how much can change in a short period of time. They focus on months of waiting, months of uncertainty, months of preparation, and they forget that life can shift quickly. A single opportunity can create momentum. A single decision can change direction. A single connection can open a new chapter. A single moment can transform an entire season. And while you have been focused on what has not happened yet, life has been quietly arranging circumstances behind the scenes. Things are moving, things are aligning, things are preparing, and the evidence of that alignment will become visible in the proper time. Future projection. Archangel Michael says, imagine yourself months from now. Imagine looking back on this season. Imagine seeing the lessons that are difficult to see today. Imagine recognizing how much growth occurred. Imagine realizing that your strength increased, your wisdom increased, your confidence increased, your understanding increased. Imagine realizing that the waiting season was never empty. It was building something. It was preparing something. It was creating something. Now imagine the opportunities that are waiting ahead, the conversations you have not yet had, the doors you have not yet opened, the possibilities you have not yet explored, the blessings you have not yet received. They exist. They are real, and they are moving closer, not because you force them, not because you chase them, but because they belong within your journey. Archangel Michael says, you are entering a season of greater clarity, a season where confusion begins to lose its power, a season where direction becomes easier to recognize, a season where uncertainty begins giving way to understanding. You may not see every detail immediately, but you will begin seeing enough to take the next step, and then the next, and then the next. That is how meaningful journeys unfold, not through knowing everything at once, but through receiving enough light for the next step, and trust that the light will continue appearing as you move forward. Archangel Michael says, the future is asking you for one thing. Not perfection, not certainty, not complete understanding, only willingness. A willingness to trust, a willingness to continue, a willingness to believe that your story is still unfolding. Because it is. Your story is not ending. Your opportunities are not gone. Your purpose has not disappeared. Your future remains open, and there is still so much ahead of you. Evening peace transition. Archangel Michael says, now allow yourself to become still. Allow the concerns of today to become lighter. Allow the pressure you have been carrying to begin leaving your shoulders. You do not need to solve everything tonight. You do not need every answer tonight. You do not need to force tomorrow into existence tonight. Simply rest. Simply breathe. Simply trust. The stars know when to appear. The moon knows when to rise. The dawn knows when to arrive. And what is meant for you knows how to find you. Trust the wisdom of timing. Trust the wisdom of preparation. Trust the wisdom of the journey. And most importantly, trust that you are exactly where you need to be for this moment in your life. Archangel Michael says, release fear. Release hurry. Release comparison. Release doubt. Release the belief that you have fallen behind. You are not behind. You are on your path. And your path is unfolding exactly one step at a time. Final blessing. Archangel Michael says, may peace fill your heart tonight. May clarity gradually replace confusion. May courage replace fear. May hope replace discouragement. May wisdom guide your decisions. May patience strengthen your spirit. And may you always remember this truth. You are not forgotten. You are not overlooked. You are not abandoned. You are not behind. You are being prepared. And what is meant for you is drawing nearer every day. The wait is almost over. Trust the timing. Trust the process. Trust the journey. And trust that what is coming will arrive exactly when it should. Heaven's whisper ending message before this message comes to a close. Remember that you are part of a community of people who are walking similar journeys of faith, patience, and hope. If this message spoke to your heart, please support Heaven's Whisper by subscribing to the channel and turning on notifications so you never miss a new message of encouragement and spiritual guidance. If you believe that something good is aligning in your life, leave this comment below. The wait is almost over. I trust divine timing. Your words may inspire someone else who is struggling through a season of uncertainty. And if this message brought you comfort, peace, or hope, please like this video and share it with someone who may need this encouragement tonight. Thank you for spending this time with Heaven's Whisper. May your evening be peaceful. May your rest be refreshing. May your heart remain hopeful. And may you continue forward with confidence, knowing that the chapter you have been waiting for is closer than you think. Good night, and remember, the wait is almost over.